welcome to your deep dive. So this passage you sent from Psalm 121, you know, it really got me thinking. I mean, that whole idea of looking for protection, searching for some kind of guidance, it feels surprisingly relevant, even now, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think Psalm 121, it's one of those pieces of writing, it just kind of gets under your skin. It speaks to that very, very human need to feel safe, to feel like we're not completely lost in the wilderness.
Exactly. It's like in that very first line, I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? It's almost instinctive, right? Like when we're feeling uncertain, we just automatically look to something bigger than ourselves.
It's true. And, you have to remember in ancient Israel, mountains, they weren't just pretty backdrops. They were incredibly symbolic. People saw them as these powerful places, places where the gods lived, where heaven and earth kind of like merged.
That's interesting. So it's like when the psalmist is looking up at those hills, they're not just admiring the scenery. They're looking for strength, for some kind of divine intervention.
Oh, exactly. They're reaching out to a power beyond themselves, a power that can offer like real and tangible help.
Which brings us to that powerful answer. My help comes from Adonai, the maker of heaven and earth. So can we talk about that name for a second, Adonai? What's the significance there?
Right. So Adonai, it's not just a name, right? It's a way of relating to God that's deeply personal. It would be like, think about it this way. You could call your father sir, or you could call him dad. One is more formal, more distant. The other, well, it suggests a bond, a familiarity. That's what using the name Adonai does. It shows a closeness with God.
Okay, so it's like choosing a name for God that implies a close relationship, even a sense of family.
Yeah.
And that personal connection, it just seems to deepen as the song goes on. Like in verses 3 and 4, he will not let your foot slip, your protector will not slumber. Indeed, he who guards Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. It's like this constant reassurance, right? Adonai's always there, always watching out.
Totally. And can you imagine centuries ago hearing those words in a world where danger was everywhere? I mean, you could be attacked by bandits, your crops could fail, you could get sick, and there wasn't much you could do about it. So to have this reassurance that no matter what, someone's always awake, always looking out for you, phew, that's powerful stuff.
It really is. And that protection, it's not just about physical safety either, is it? I mean, listen to this. Adonai is your protector. Adonai is your shade at your right hand. That image of God as shade, it's just, I don't know, it's really striking.
Right. And it makes perfect sense if you think about it. I mean, the ancient Near East, blazing hot sun. Imagine being a shepherd, a traveler, just being out in that all day. The sun could be brutal, dangerous even.
Oh, absolutely. Heat stroke's a serious thing.
Exactly. So having shade, it wasn't just about comfort, it was about survival. So when the psalm says, Adonai is your shade, it's like saying, I've got you covered no matter how harsh things get.
Yeah. Like you're never really alone. And this protection, it even goes beyond the physical world, right? Because verse 6 mentions the sun and the moon.
It does. And
Yeah.
and those weren't just, pretty lights in the sky. People back then had this really complex relationship with the sun and the moon.
Oh, how so?
Well, I mean, yeah, they brought light and warmth and they helped mark the seasons, but they were also seen as these incredibly powerful forces. The sun could scorch your crops, right? And the moon, well, it brought darkness. And with darkness came fear, the unknown.
So it's like they needed protection from both sides of the coin, the light and the dark.
Exactly. And the psalm is saying Adonai offers protection from it all, the seen and the unseen.
A complete kind of protection. And it's interesting, it's not even limited to one place. The psalm says, Adonai will guard your coming and going, both now and forevermore. What do you think? What does that coming and going say about life back then?
Well, you have to remember, travel was part of life. Shepherds moved their flocks, traders traveled for business, people went on pilgrimages. It wasn't easy or safe.
Yeah,
It was dangerous.
that's true. Bandits, wild animals,
Yeah.
even just getting lost out there.
Yeah. So when the psalm promises protection for their comings and goings, it means no matter where they go, they're not alone. God's with them, always. That's a
Yeah.
powerful promise.
It is like a portable force field of protection. I could use one of those. And I think that's what's so amazing about this psalm. It's like thousands of years old, yet it still resonates with us today. That deep human need for security, for reassurance, it never really goes away, does it?
Never. We may not face the same dangers as ancient Israelites, but we have our own anxieties, our own uncertainties. And in the midst of that, Psalm 121 offers us this message of hope, this reminder that no matter what we face, we don't have to face it alone.
Beautifully said. And I think that's a perfect place to leave our listeners today. If this psalm speaks to you, if you find yourself searching for that same sense of guidance, that feeling of being protected, where do you turn? What helps you feel grounded, safe? What are the hills you lift your eyes to when you need help? Until next time, keep searching, keep exploring.